What's up, everyone? Haven't been able to make it out to the shop to get any more work done on car or motorcycle projects, so I figured I'd show you a little something that I've had for about 6 months now. I originally purchased this for the lump sum of $20, and the lady was actually surprised that I even gave her the $20 for it, because originally they wanted to donate it to me. Now, this computer I bought from the third owner, I believe, and we'll look into that here in a little bit. This is actually a piece of history. This is the first production laptop ever to include an onboard CD-Rom drive. Does anyone know what that might be? Well, this video is here to show you. This is not the original computer case that came with this. Actually, this is a really interesting bag. I've never seen a setup like this, but the computer's nicely tucked away in here. And here we are. This is an Apple Powerbook, in case you couldn't tell. Go ahead and open it up here. This is what it looks like on the inside. This is a Powerbook 1400 CS. This originally was the 117 megahertz model, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. As you can see, it's pretty small. It's actually a lot smaller than my 14-inch or 12-inch iBook G4. Actually, I believe that's the 14-inch. The 12-inch is a lot smaller. So, pretty comparable there size-wise. Let's do a little overview of everything that's included on this system. Now, on this particular configuration, there are some things that vary from what's factory, but I'll kind of explain as we go here. The factory battery pack is this bay over here. This was before lithium-ion batteries. This is actually a nickel metal hydride. I plan on rebuilding this battery pack. I haven't ordered the cells yet, but I will here soon. This next bay here is where the CD-ROM drive resides in. It's interesting, one-handed. Pulls out. Now this is a 6X, or this is the 8X. Ooh, so 8X CD-ROM drive. I think factory they were with the 6X, and then the 8X came out later. This has a build date of 97. The computer itself came out in 1996, and this has a copyright of 1996 right here. Now, you could also get a floppy drive, a zip drive, I think, and maybe even a second battery. I do have the floppy drive right here. So that's what the floppy module looks like. Nothing terribly special. Actually, I'll go ahead and throw this one in here for now. The CD-ROM drive, this was the only issue with this computer. The face had been ripped off of it at one time, and I started to reconstruct it and put it back together. I'm not quite done yet, just a little matter of time. Now, on the right side of the machine, there's nothing. On the left side of the machine, we have two PCM-CIA slots, two Type 2, one Type 3, and this has power eject buttons. That was one thing I really liked about these early Apple machines, is put a card in, hit the button, and a little solenoid will actually spit it out at you with about the same force as a zip disk. Now, on the back here we have our AC adapter. You have microphone, headphone, infrared, which was very common in those days. And then we have our port cover, which is still there and functional. Here you have your modem and printer port. You have your Apple bus for the keyboard. You have SCSI. And this is actually an expansion card slot, and I happen to have a 10 megabit, I don't know if it's 100 megabit Ethernet card, and I was able to locate the drivers and get it functioning. Underneath the system is very plain. The only thing we have are buttons to eject everything on the front. And inside the system you have brightness and contrast. This is a passive matrix display, so that's why you see the contrast over here. and the standard issue Powerbook keyboard. Now this machine I got came with these two boxes. You'll notice one says, "Look inside to get started." Powerbook 1400 Country Kit Assembly and Powerbook 1400 Hardware Accessory Kit with floppy. So yes, these are the original boxes that came with this computer in 1996. What do we have inside? Now, this is a SCSI adapter. So we have our proprietary SCSI to the 25-pin parallel port looking SCSI that's common on zip and jazz drives and some other things. And you have a nice little off and on here. Came with a phone cord, fashionably gray like the rest of the computer. Now this is where we get some interesting stuff. This says New Power G3 1400. That is because this particular machine has a 200 megahertz G3 upgrade in it. And this is the manual, and it also includes the software. Let me see if I can find a quick picture. Talks about the RAM expansion. You can actually stack the memory modules in this machine, which is very unique. Some other literature for other G3 processor upgrade boards of the day. And here we are. So this is the factory CPU here that's shown, which I do have as well. Maybe. And then that's a picture of the add-on board. Now this system's fanless, so it's actually got a heatsink that sits on top of here. And if you ask me, it's kind of subpar for what this processor upgrade is. The system gets really hot during use, especially when you're using it to play games or surf the internet, because nowadays that's CPU intensive. Some other stuff that was included. This is the original receipt for the machine. Customer spent $1,200 on this computer, and it has a couple things blacked out, but it is indeed the original receipt. Here's another $221 receipt for the 8X CD-ROM drive, and it's dated June 27th of 1997. Looks like they bought the computer just a couple of days before. We have global fax software for the modem. Apparently somebody completed a Powerbook service course. Now, this is for the Ethernet card. This is the original install manual. Very interesting, because as I understand it, this Ethernet card is quite rare, let alone with the original documentation. Global Fax User's Guide and some other miscellaneous user's guides. PowerPort PC card. Claris works. And that's about all she wrote for that. I'll go ahead and throw this stuff back in here. And now we have the original Powerbook Restore CD-ROM, and this includes the software to make your own custom book covers, or I think that's what they called that. This is actually replaceable. We'll get to that in a minute. This is the original hard drive, 1.0 gigabytes. And this hard drive has the original factory load with a bunch of software on it, and actually still the data from the previous user. The reason why the drive is not in the machine is because it's rather noisy and probably doesn't have much longer to live. The reason why I saved it is in case I lost the drivers or needed something else, I can just pop this drive into another machine and get what I need off of it. PC card case. Haven't seen one of those in a while. This is another little piece of literature on the upgrades. This is the G3 disc, which includes the extensions for using the upgrade card, and some fax software with the modem that seems to be missing. Because this actually came with a modem, and that's what was in here, was a modem network card combo. Now in this box we have the original Powerbook user manual in all its glory. Now here are the extra book covers. Without destroying them, get them out here one-handed. Now on the back there's a whole bunch of different colored flower patterns in case you didn't like any of the other designs. And then on the front is a bunch of different artworks. Some tin cans and string. I have no idea what to make of that, but it's there. Like a puzzle looking thing. That's cool. Mobile Muscle. I like that one too. Scenic Mountains. It's the stuff dreams are made of. And a random eyeball. That's done by some famous artist. Don't know who though. Sorry. So underneath here we have, aha! That's the foam cutout where the CD-Rom drive used to sit. And here is the original PowerPC 603E running at 117 megahertz. It's got that heat transfer pad on it so you can't actually see the chip. There's what the bus connectors look like. Here's our Global Village PowerPort Platinum Pro. And this is not just a modem, but it's also an Ethernet card. And I've actually tried using this in the machine. For some reason it freezes when I try and use it, but that's okay because I found the drivers to the onboard NIC. Now it wouldn't be a video unless you got to see it work, right? So we got our helper here today. Got it all plugged in. Battery doesn't hold a charge yet. Ah yes, the old familiar sound. Now this passive matrix display is shit, so don't hold your breath for that, but as you can probably hear, the hard drive that I replaced it with isn't too far behind. The difference between this hard drive and the old one is, even though this hard drive has a noisy spindle motor, I didn't hear any head crashing action, so I decided to use it. You can see our new Power G3 upgrade extension down there. Turn off the lights. Maybe you can see it a little bit better. No, it probably wasn't. And this is our desktop. So let's pull up the classic about this computer. We are running macOS 8.1 with 36 megs of RAM. Woohoo! There's 512 megs of virtual memory on the hard disk apparently, which is quite a lot. The hard drive I have split into two separate partitions, and it's roughly a 12 gig hard disk. Now I installed a bunch of original applications on here after I reloaded OS 8.1, which includes an original version of Microsoft Office, iOmega Drive Tools and Utilities, and a couple of games. Let's show you Sim Tower. 256 colors, fine. I think I have one saved here. Oh yeah. Now a game like Sim Tower actually is okay to play on the passive matrix display. But one of my other favorite classic Mac games, Escape Velocity, does not play well on this passive matrix display. And that's because the whole screen moves. Like for example, when I scroll up, you can see a considerable amount of motion blurring. This was a huge problem with these passive matrix displays. So that's that. I got a VNC viewer on here. Microsoft Word. Can't remember what version. Let's find out. Word 2001. So it's actually still fairly current, but also fairly outdated software. And surprisingly, I actually really enjoy typing on this keyboard. This keyboard is just as comfortable as the older ThinkPads, but I don't know, the tactile feedback that you get from this keyboard actually, in my opinion, surpasses IBM ThinkPads. That's saying a lot because I'm a huge IBM fan. Let's see. I figure I'll show you one more game here. I'll actually open Escape Velocity and show you what I mean. Thought I registered this. Please let me click not yet. Okay. So as you can see here, it's one of those games where you fly a ship around and such. And well, once you get moving on a passive matrix display, it is just horrible. I mean, you can see my guy in the middle there. That's pretty much it. You know, when Earth floats by, it's just a little blurry spot. Anyway, this game's a lot of fun. I actually use Res Edit and edit the game a little bit and modify it to my liking. I guess that's cheating in a way, but kind of not. So yeah, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this small review of the world's first laptop to come with a CD-ROM drive. Not bad for 1996. And while it does look like a toilet seat, Apple didn't do too bad in 2000 either. And Apple did really good in 2004. Honestly, the PowerPC processors were where it was at. Still some of the fastest computers in the world. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this.